Let's go to, we've used NVL. Now we are going to do NVL2. Now in NVL2, expression 1, expression 2, expression 3. If expression 1 is not null, NVL2 returns expression 2. If expression 1 is null, NVL2 returns expression 3. The argument, expression 1, can have any data type. Okay, let's practically see. So here I can decide to say, select salary, comma, or I will say last name, comma, then commission underscore percentage, comma, right? You see this one. So I will now call NVL2, and then I will supply the parameter by saying that if I will supply this column, this commission percentage, as my first, then I'm saying if the row that is returned is null, if it is null, are you with me? I'm just going to write something in that column. I'm not going to do any calculation. I will just say, since it is a character, I'll put it in a string. I will say sal plus com. I'll just put it that way. Then, if it is not null, it will give me this. If it is null, just give me salary. Now, from employees. So look at this. After typing this, now let me execute it. Now, can you see it? This one, I'm just saying that I'm not using it for calculation. I told you that NVL2 is expecting 3 parameters: expression 1, expression 2, and expression 3. Now, the rule is that if what is coming in this is the value that is supplied. If this value is not null, are you with me? It's going to return expression 2. But if it is null, if this value is null, then it's going to return the third expression. In this place now, commission percentage is null, as you can see. Now it's returning sal. It's returning this in this column. If I scroll down to an employee, look at this. Look at this employee. This employee has commission, so he's returning this second expression. So the first expression is the input. Now this first expression as the input, if it is not null, is going to return the second expression as the output. But if the first expression as the input is null, it's going to return the third expression as the output. Just to show you that if it is not null, it is going to return the second expression. If it is null, it's going to return the third expression. That is just what I did there. We have looked at NVL and NVL2. Now let's look at null if. Null if expression 1, expression 2 is also expecting 2 parameters. Null if compares 2 expressions and returns null if they are equal. Returns the first expression if they are not equal. So this one is also going to compare 2 expressions. Null if, just as the name is, null if. If expression 1 equals to expression 2, then return null as the output. But if expression 1 is not equals to expression 2, return expression 1 as the output. That is the rule. That is what it's telling you here. It's just instruction, and you just have to follow that instruction. It's saying null if. It's comparing 2 parameters. Now, if they are equal, it will return null. If they are not equal, is going to return the first expression, and you will see how we use it practically. Now, let's take for example, I say select, then I'm going to call, let me call a function. I'm going to use two functions in this one. I'm going to calculate what is the length. Okay, what I want to do here, let me write my query. What I want to do here is, I want to find out the length of first name and the length of last name, right? Then we are going to compare. If the length of first name equals to the length of last name, it will return null. But if they are not the same, then it's going to return the length of the first name. So I will say select. So I'm going to call a function length. You know what this function does, right? It's going to calculate. So I'm saying length first underscore name. So I'm supplying this parameter first name to length, and I'm asking it to calculate it for me. Then I will say, I will call this same function again, length, and I will say last name, last underscore name. For example, let's do this. From employees. Let me come back here and type, this will give us two columns. So let me say first name, let me select first underscore name, comma, last underscore name, comma. So let's run this first and foremost. Let's run this. Now look at this. First name, last name. First name is Ellen. Last name is Abel. Now I'm calling a function length, and I'm telling length to tell me how many characters is the first name. So it counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 characters, right? Then last name, how many characters? Is count 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is 4. So this column and this column are telling me the numbers of the characters of the first name and the last name. Are you with me? Now I'm going to call the function null if. I'm going to call that null if. So I will say null if. This is the function. I'm not supposed to put it there. Yeah. So I'm this one, comma. So I'm going to call that function now for another column. So I'm going to insert another column, the fifth column. So I will call the function null if. And I'm going to supply it. It requires two parameters. So I'm going to supply two parameters to it. And the first parameter will be this one. This. I'm just going to supply this as the first parameter. Then I'll put comma. Then I will supply this as the second parameter. Now, can you see? So what am I saying? Already, this one is giving me this output, which is what? Length first name. Is giving me, is counting the number of the characters of first name. This one is counting the characters of what? Last name. Now I am taking them like that and supplying it to this null if. So I'm telling null if, check for me. If the length of the first name equals to the length of the last name, you are going to return what? Null. If they are not equals to, you are going to return the length of the first name. That is the rule of null if. Null if is that compares two expressions and returns null if they are equal. Returns the first expression if they are what? Not equal. So I'm going to run this. When I run this, now look at length of first name 5, 4. So they are not equal. It compares them, they are not equal. So which one is it going to return? It's going to return the length of first name, which is 5. That is what it did. So all these ones, they are not equal. So it's returning, you can see it's returning everything that is in this place the same. So 5 and 4 are not the same. So it's returning 5, which is the first length of first name. 6 and 4 are not the same. So it's returning 6. 5 and 8 are not the same. So it's returning 5. 5 and 6 are not the same, so it's returning 5. 7 and 4 are not the same, so it's returning 7. Now let's scroll down. Look at this one. 4, John, John, 4, Chen, 4. So the length of first name and the length of last name are the same. It's returning null. Can you see that? For this one, 18. Now, the length of first name and the length of last name are the same, so it's returning null. While this one, the length of the first name is not the same as the length of last name, so it's returning the length of first name, which is 5. This one is 6 and 6, so it will return null. So that is what it's doing. Is having this as the first parameter, and then this as what? The second parameter. But this null if is just comparing the output of these two parameters. If they are the same, then it will return null. Now, if you look at this, you can see that it's taking the whole expression as the column name. Can you see that? It's taking it as the column name. So if I want to change it, I don't want that to come as the column name. So I can now say expression 1, expression 2. So this length first name, I will change it to expression 1. Expression 1. And then this one, I will change it to expression 2. Right? And I will do that. Then I will now come here. For this final one, I will say result or output. I will say output. So it's going to use this output as the column name. Now, when I execute this again, see, look at, it's telling me that first name is using this first column, the first name is returning it, then is returning the last name as a column. Now, length, first name, is going to calculate the length of each of the characters of first name, but it will return the column name as expression 1 because I changed, that is the alias I gave to it. So it's giving me expression 1. Then this one, length of last name, is going to return it as expression 2, which is the column name. So I'm giving this as the alias. So expression 2. Then this null if, the whole of this, I'm giving it as the alias as output. So it's giving me output. So it has reduced the size or the length of my output to this.